Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at Voyager class Soundwave from Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron Trilogy. Very excited to get my hands on Soundwave. He's always been one of my favorite characters. Love the look of him. Love the fact that he was a tape player and I loved all his little cassettes and everything. Not technically a cassette player this time, but he does still have the kind of window in his chest to hold the cassettes. Not typically, or not really cassettes, but they kind of are. Anyway, he looks great. He has two vehicle modes. Well, he has one official vehicle mode, which is this kind of weird flying rectangle. But he also has the unofficial like lamppost mode, which is seen in the first episode of More Than Meets the Eye when they're still on Cybertron. So taking a look at the packaging, this side has the kind of normal mural we're used to. Really awesome artwork here for Soundwave on the side. Now, I know this is supposed to show up under blacklight, and I don't have a blacklight, but you can kind of see as the glare washes over it that there is something there on the side, and that is his lamppost mode. If you have a blacklight, you can see it, and it does show up there on the side, which is actually kind of neat. It's also printed on a flap on the inside, which I'll show you after I open them up. But love this artwork. I think that looks fantastic. Not really anything on the bottom or the top. And then the back, again, has the robot mode, the vehicle mode, shows him with Aimless here, shows him with the cassettes. So of course, we'll take a look at all of that. So I'm going to go ahead, get Soundwave out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Soundwave out of the packaging, and he looks absolutely fantastic. I will say that in the packaging, these are flipped up like this, and you just want to flip them around to the back. It's like the only way he's mistransformed in the packaging. Otherwise, he looks pretty excellent. I really love the design of Soundwave. They've done a great job. Very reminiscent of the original G1 toy. I thought the one they did in Titan's Return was pretty great. This one's even better. This one's absolutely fantastic. Even though he does not turn into a cassette deck or a tape player, whatever you want to call it, he's got all the kind of like buttons here in the crotch. He's got the place to load the tape here in the chest. I love the Decepticon symbol. I kind of wish that the, glass wasn't all cracked or made to look cracked, but it's not a huge problem. And I love that head sculpt. That is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, it does have light piping. If I cover that, now light comes through. Really just well done. Fantastic design. He's got this little thing on his shoulder, which looks great. You can unpeg this and it can be used as a weapon if you want. I'll unpeg it for now. He's got these little ports, for the whole gimmick line where you can plug in any of the ports on the sides. He's got one down here, one on the bottom of his feet, two here on the back. So he's definitely got plenty of ports for the gimmick for this line, but it's just such a good looking toy. He looks so good. This is like the closest I feel like they've got to a perfect update of G1 Soundwave that I'm super happy with it. You can see the little cockpit for his flying rectangle there on his butt. But anyway, he looks really, really good. Now, like I said, he does come with the accessories. This is the one that goes in his shoulder. He's got a second one that you can push this through, and then that becomes the gun, just like the original G1 toy, so he can hold that there. And then he's got this other weird thing. I don't know. To me, this is just like they're just trying to pack in extra stuff, which is nice, but I don't need it. This is just another little gun he can hold, which, looks a little goofy. But you can also take this and the other one, and you stretch this out. You peg this into the back of this. Then you take this one and you peg it into the back of this. And you can make this weird long gun staff thing. I mean, like I said, it's nice that they're trying to give you extra playability. I think it looks kind of goofy. I don't need it. But hey, if you like it, great. It's there. You can absolutely take advantage of it. I'm just going to put this thing off to the side because I personally don't need it. I like this look with this gun. And that is the Soundwave for me. He looks really, really cool. Alright, let's get into articulation. So head's on a ball joint, side to side, tilt back and forth. Shoulder here has movement. You can also have out to the side. You have a bicep swivel. You have probably two joints in the elbow, which is, I don't think that's really part for the transformation. The only problem is there's no wrist swivel. So you can see here that they give us this finger because you can press this and that opens up to put the cassettes in, which we'll get to in a minute. And I understand that they're going for the ability for him to actually press that with the finger, but he can't actually do it. It's really a shame. Like, he can kind of get there, and maybe I'm just doing this wrong, but if you could rotate the wrist, I could easily go like this and then just rotate the wrist and it would be perfect. But yeah, it's not. See, to have the hand like this, you need the ability for this to bend this way. And it just doesn't, because that's not how the elbow works, which I understand why that's not how the elbow works. But without the ability to rotate the wrist, it makes that finger to press the button down just not really work. And it's just kind of a bummer, because I really appreciate the effort they went to try to give us that. And it just looks kind of goofy like that. So yeah, like I said, I appreciate it, but just a little short-sighted. Need that wrist to be able to move. But otherwise, we have waist articulation here. You have these flaps you can lift up so that you can make him kick. He can kick back. He can kick out to the side. He's got a thigh swivel there. Good 90 degrees in the knee. And then, of course, he's got ankle tilt because Hasbro loves ankle tilt these days. He's got really nice paint down here on the legs. Really nice and sharp there. Just all around, he looks great. Got that red stripe. Really, really, really well done. Like, I can't tell you guys how much I love this figure. The only thing I have to complain about is that little pinky thing, or finger, index finger, I guess it is. It's not a big deal. It's really not. I appreciate what they tried to give us. It's just funny to go that far and then not actually, like, no one tested that it could actually hit the button. I don't know. Just looks a little goofy. But let's go ahead and check out how the cassettes and everything work and the other Battle Masters and such. So as you can see, any of the Battle Masters can peg into any of those holes that I told you about. Of course, he can also hold it in his hand, which looks cool. Bringing in the cassettes, and I should have transformed these into cassettes previously, but that's all right. It only takes a few seconds, so I'll go ahead, fold up Laserbeak here, press the button to open the chest, slide him in, and it's a little tight, but I feel like you'd want it to be tight. And there you go. He's got Laserbeak in the chest there. Opens up. You pull him out. And you're good to go. You can only hold one cassette at a time. The other thing they showed off, and I showed this with Megatron, where you can have him wear these as like weird shoulder armor, which you totally can do. I don't know why, but you get like a samurai looking thing going on there. You can totally do that. I just think it looks a little goofy, but that's just me. And then let me get this out of his hand. And we'll take Laserbeak and transform him back. It's always a little difficult to get the condor head out of there. And then I'm going to put this on his forearm, just like with Megatron, so that you can have him perch on his arm. I really like that look. I think that looks really cool. Works well with Megatron, works well with Soundwave as well. So, really appreciating the compatibility with the cassettes. Ravage also fits in his chest, and Ravage can also be worn as the shoulder armor. The shoulder armor is still weird to me, but I love the way they work and they fit in the chest and everything, and I think that's just perfect. Alright, let's get on to transformation. On the way to the flying rectangle, we will check out the secret lamppost mode because it's very easy to do. So you just kind of stand the legs straight up. You're eventually going to bend him forward a smidge, but first we will fold the hands into the forearms there. You're going to open this up. You can see how this whole thing kind of opens, but then also this opens so that you can flip the head around. Close that up. Then you're going to take this whole section, bring it up, and drop it in. You can see that there's a giant tab right there, and that's going to fit into this giant tab spot right there. So this just comes up just like that, and these just stay pegged in just like that. You could even do kind of a weird... It looks like a GoBot with these things for eyes. It's kind of goofy. So you're going to bring this around to the back. You're going to flip these up, and you can see right, where is it? Here, there's a little notch, and then there is a little tab here on the back right here. So you're going to bring this around, and that's going to come around and peg into the back right there, just like that. Do the same with this one. Whoops, leave these pegged in. Bend it there, bend this up. That's going to tab in right there. And then you just bend this a little forward. And that is the official, unofficial lamppost mode from the first episode of the first ever episode of Transformers Generation 1 More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. So that is the weird little lamppost mode when he was in disguise out front of Iacon. So I think that's fun. I think it's neat that they put this in there. They knew that this wasn't going to fly as his sole vehicle mode or alternate mode, however you want to call it. But I love that they put it in there. You can tell there's the little notches. There's the fact that it is on the packaging. And I did want to show you guys, like I said, if you have a black light, you can see it here. But if you open up the bottom, it is printed on the flap right there. So it is intentional. Hasbro is 100% behind this second alt mode for him to have this little reference to that first episode, and I think that's really, really neat. Alright, so we're going to take him back, kind of just bring him back to this right around here, and then we will pull this back, because what you have to do is you have to unhinge these, pull the arms kind of out to the front, unhinge this to the side. You can see here that there is a tiny little gray piece that flips around as like a little antenna. You're going to then bring this up. Now you're supposed to unhook these and kind of pull them off to the side, and then you're going to put that back in, because these will end up just staying like this at kind of like a 45-degree angle. They don't really peg in. It's kind of hang out there to the side. It's a little goofy in my opinion, but we'll get there. You're going to come to the back here. You're going to lift up these back panels, and then this will flip out, fold the foot in, and then this will kind of come over and close over top of it. So do that again with this one. Open up, fold that in, close it up. Then you're going to rotate these in. Make sure that's clicked in. And then you can connect these to each other. There you go. Now you're going to want to flip these up, and they will, you can see that there's a big peg hole right there and a big peg right there, so they just flip up. They love to just hide thighs with these goofy panels. I feel like this reminds me of the Astro Train / Sentinel Prime from Titan's Return. And they don't really like hook together all that great, but the next thing you're going to do is you're going to unhook this torso and slide this around, and you can see, if I get a little bit closer, there's these tabs right here, and they're going to peg into here and here. So when you also do that, there's a tab or a tab spot right there, and these tabs are going to peg into right there and there. So as you're dropping this down, make sure this all goes into place, and there you go. So there you go. You can see that this thing is pretty much almost done at this point. You're going to come around to the bottom. You're going to flip this. I'm sorry, you have to flip these around first. Like that. And then you're going to bring these around, and you can see that they'll peg into each other, that tab into that tab spot. So, actually, I think you want to keep these all together. Yeah, this all tabs together. And they'll also kind of click into place. The shoulders will click into place when you're tabbing it to the underneath of this. So there you go. You're going to flip these things around to form little skis. You're going to flip these out to also form little skis. And there is your goofy flying rectangle thing. So it's not great. It's not terrible. Yeah, it just is what it is. I mean, when you take Soundwave out of the possibility of being like a tape deck, They don't really know what to do. Sometimes they make them like a vehicle. They make them a tanky type thing. This time we went with a flying rectangle. I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, if you consider, like, this is Cybertron and things are just having alt modes to get around fast and it doesn't have to look like our car because it's an alien species, like, I get it. He's got the little cockpit, which I appreciate. They tried to give him something. Also, you can take these, push this back in, and then you're going to want to drop these on top of here. I mean, you don't have to, but this is what the directions show to do with these. So it's symmetrical, kind of. If you'd rather just peg normal other weapons or anything on there, you certainly can. You'll notice in this mode, he kind of loses most of his peg holes. So you can't really attach a bunch of stuff, which is kind of a bummer. You literally just have those two that I just pegged something into. Otherwise, there's not anything here. There's nothing here. Underneath, there's nothing. So he really doesn't have a ton of like weapon storage, except for these two, which I've already just used. So, I mean, you could certainly have, you know, let me get this guy back. You could sit up here and just kind of cruise and hang out. The other thing is, I believe this will not open. Oh, I'm wrong. It'll completely open. For some reason, I thought there was something when you transform so that when he's in this mode that won't flip open, but I was wrong. I think I'm thinking of a different, maybe thinking of Cyberverse Soundwave. So you can flip this open. You can put this guy in here. Oops, make sure it's all the way in, and then close it up. And then he can just ride around in the back. It's kind of neat that we think about it like he's flying and just kind of like jettisons like a drone to go out while he's flying. It's kind of neat. So yeah, I definitely think it's a goofy alt mode, but I don't mind it. I mean, obviously you're buying this toy for the robot mode, but they had to give him some kind of alt mode. And I love the fact that they included the extra little lamppost mode. So that kind of 2 half alt modes equals 1 in my opinion. So that's why I'm a little bit more forgiving of this. I absolutely love this guy. If he's not my favorite, he's definitely top 3 of Siege so far. He looks great. The paint applications, the color scheme, just everything about his look is so G1 Soundwave. It looks fantastic. I love the interaction with the cassettes. They fit perfectly in the chest. The spring-loaded when you hit the button. The alt modes are not amazing, but I think they're perfectly fine. They just couldn't make him a tape deck because he hasn't been to Earth yet, so he wouldn't be a tape deck. It makes sense. I love the inclusion of the lamppost mode for you know, original G1 fans. That's fantastic. The flying rectangle, as I'm calling it, it's fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. It's really no different than a rectangle on wheels or whatever else they usually make him, so it's fine. I'm probably just going to leave him displayed in robot mode all the time, though, because he looks great. Yeah, like I said, if I had to nitpick something, I love that they went the extra mile of giving us the finger, like the index finger ready to hit the button on his shoulder, but the way his like articulation is, you can't quite get it to his shoulder to do it. So that's a little bit awkward. I wish you could rotate the wrist, would have been made it perfect. Minor nitpick, really not that big a deal, but if I was trying to pick something. Also, I kind of wish he came with a repaint of Laserbeak as Buzzsaw, just because it's weird to get him without a cassette when the cassette gimmick is such a big part of this toy. I mean, it's not such a big part, but it's a decent part of the toy, and it would have been nice to just have him come with, you know, one that's not previously available in a different pack. Like, you buy Laserbeak and Ravage, and they work great with him, and you definitely want to pick them up. But it would have been nice that way if you didn't want to have to pick that up, he at least came with one, or if you couldn't find the others, etc., etc. But anyway, that's, again, if I had to nitpick, if I had to find something, this guy's great. It's very minor things, and they're not even really worth mentioning. I was just trying to find something to nitpick. Anyway, this guy's great. I'm babbling at this point. Definitely pick him up. If you're a G1 fan, this guy's a must-own from this line. He is amazing. Pick him up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.